I'm the Alchemist Astrologer, and this is your May forecast for Cancer Sun, Cancer Rising, and Cancer Moon. All right, you are represented by the Six of Swords and the Page of Pentacles. So perhaps you are making some plans. You are maybe considering your resources. There's a small opportunity for some kind of gain here. And you're doing some reflection about something that requires your courage. You are trying to move to the other side of a situation. For some of you, this may be plans to move. Maybe you're moving overseas, maybe you're taking a trip, maybe you're relocating. Whatever it is, you're doing some reflecting to see how you can make some positive change. It may be that you want to make some changes in your relationship, especially if there's been a toxic or abusive situation that you want to get past. There's some difficulties, and you're still trying to work through those to get to the other side. It's going to require some time, some patience, some courage. You're gaining greater awareness of yourself as well as your partner. And either you're going to try to work things out, or perhaps you're considering how you can manifest a way to move on from a situation. And you're looking at two factors, that of risk or security. Should you do what is safe, what is comfortable, what you know, or should you step out there towards something that perhaps lights your passion? In fact, with the Page of Pentacles, you may be looking for greener pastures, looking elsewhere for satisfaction, or perhaps your partner is doing that. Maybe you've gotten some news that creates some kind of beneficial change with regard to your finances or some kind of emotional security. You're also being driven by your memories of the past, where you're looking at something where you shared good times with somebody and how you felt about that. Now, maybe you want to take a trip and recreate some memories with your partner, some kind of pleasant experience. You want to create some memories together. But more than likely, there's a nostalgia for the past, a sentimentality that may be driving your decisions. And, you know, you're making a choice to see something positively. Again, it's based on some past memories. And for some of you, this may be an old love that shows up. So you're doing some reflection on perhaps how to either move on, create some beneficial changes. You're thinking about the good times and whether you should stick with what you know, what's safe, or step out there and take a risk. Now, your partner is represented by the Queen of Cups and the Tower card. And so this is about, this is water energy. This could very well be you, or perhaps this is, your influence on the partner, or how the partner is reflecting back toward you. Or maybe you're dealing with another Cancer, Scorpio, Pisces, Sun, Moon, or Rising, male or female. This Queen is very concerned about nourishment, security, protection. And she's the feminine ideal. There could be issues surrounding the feminine principle. Loving, protection, concern, listening, maternal instincts. And so those could be at issue. What you're getting from your partner, what you're offering in those terms. This is a queen who, again, is the feminine ideal. There's a mystique surrounding her. She is a good listener. She's empathic. She's perhaps creative. Perhaps your partner works in some capacity where that skill set is necessary to be creative or to be a listener. Maybe this is a counselor, an artist. Maybe this is just a mother. Or maybe this is your role as that. And so issues, again, of being nurturing. And yet this is a queen who is difficult to know. She may be secretive. In her negative, she can be emotionally manipulative. She can be influenced too much. She can give in to her emotions where she becomes moody or depressed or angry. She can induce guilt in others. She can be a martyr for a cause that's unnecessary. So she can sacrifice herself or make unnecessary sacrifices or ask you to do that. through guilt and manipulation. She can be an enabler, or she can give in to her own impulses and become addicted in some way to something or a relationship. She can be promiscuous. And with the Tower card here, it says that there is some kind of upset. So something shocking is occurring in connection to your partner and the stability or security that they feel or that they're offering to you. Now, it could be in the most positive that this is a love at first sight. You met this person and boom, there were fireworks. But in other cases, something is falling apart. Maybe there's some lifestyle changes that are taking place. Divorce, marriage, relocation, separation, maybe there's some property issues. And it could be that you gain some kind of insight through a crisis, a traumatic situation, a confrontation, or you just gain some greater awareness, either through something that your partner has said or something that you're saying that may be shocking. So you may be taking your partner aback, or your partner may be surprising you in ways. But it says that there's some changes that need to take place, some reorganization. And perhaps one of you is holding on to something and making an excuse saying, I need this, I've got to have this. And fate is going to step up and take it out of your hands. So you're having to make some changes, and it's better to get on board and not hesitate, go with the flow. So any aspect of your life that hasn't been working, you need to tear that structure down and build that baby back up again. And maybe this has to do with your finances. There's some kind of invitation, though, something that may happen unexpectedly, all of a sudden, that ties to finance. Now, for some of you, maybe you're working towards something. Maybe it's about property. Maybe somebody's going to finance some property. Or for others of you, this is a work situation where you are involved with somebody that you work with, a colleague, a superior, a client, a co-worker, somebody in your work environment. There's some kind of invitation. Now, this may be upsetting or surprising or shocking. And this queen, either she's creating some harmony or she's creating some kind of dissension. Now, your romance is characterized by the Wheel of Fortune and the Hermit card. So there's been a sudden change that feels rather fated, although whatever this change is, you have played a hand in it. So for some of you, you're changing your perspective, a fresh perspective, and maybe you've withdrawn, or you've gotten some information, or you became enlightened about something, or your partner did, that created a change. It took your relationship in a different direction. Now, maybe this was an improvement. Maybe there's some opportunities, some important developments that have taken place. So this could be a change for the better. Everything is changing, especially with this Tower card. And so your attitude, how you feel about something, is creating karmic situations. So if you had something that you weren't sure of, it was sort of hanging in the balance, there were some unanswered questions, you may get some sudden insights and things change. This is about tackling something. If you had some financial dilemma, all of a sudden you had this resolve to work that out. Or if you had something emotional going on where you were motivated and it required you to put your money where your mouth is, this may be what's happening. So there's some new information that you are receiving, perhaps through research or getting some advice, some counseling, or going within. Now, for some of you, this is a relationship where the change is that you're putting somebody at arm's length. You are looking to see if their actions are aligning with their words. Maybe your partner is looking at you and questioning to see, yeah, you said this, but I see you doing this over here. So this is not quite lining up. So this is a period of observance where you're taking information in. Some of you, there may be issues that are connected to age or wisdom or knowledge or education that creates a change of fortune, some better luck. And if something is not working out between you and another person, it could be that luck is still on your side, that you're just not aware of it. If something doesn't work out, it could be that that's in your best interest. It's likely that you're taking a critical assessment. Maybe one of you is withdrawing to get some answers, to go within, to contemplate. And maybe it's because you need some psychological space. Maybe you're trying to take care of your own mental or emotional health, or your partner is. But you are gaining some enlightenment. You have to make sure, though, that you're not so focused on a particular thing, like making money, for instance, where you don't take notice to something brewing in your relationship. Because you could be looking in one direction, putting all of your energy and focus on something, and there could be something very important happening behind your back, or something that you're not aware of. So this is about having some kind of internal mastery, using your logic. Whatever's going on in your relationship, it's time for you to be more philosophical about that, a little bit detached, sort of intellectual, so that you can look at something logically and rationally in order to work it out and make choices that are best for you. It's likely, though, that within this relationship, you're going to have a confrontation, because one of you is going to trigger the other one. Either of you may think that you have the expertise or the wisdom or the experience or the knowledge to make a choice, perhaps even for the other person, and you're going to have a confrontation where one of you loses, only to discover that there's something you thought you knew, but you're in for some surprise, some shocks. Maybe you don't know what you think you do, or perhaps your partner doesn't. So there are going to be some revelations that are gained, some insights that may have to do with the future, maybe money or what the future holds, and whether, you're actually enjoying this connection. Perhaps there's some excitement about it. Again, maybe this is somebody that, boom, you just felt an immediate attraction to. And you're having a lot of fun in this relationship, although it could go either way. It may not last. You don't know where it's headed. You just know that in this moment in time, you feel good. It could be that somebody is trying to evaluate. They're looking at what you're saying. Is this just a fun ride? Are we just having a good time here? For some of you, this is like friends with benefits. But whatever this is, it's exhilarating in the here and now. And maybe you're trying to gather some information to see what's going to happen, which way that wheel is going to turn. For some of you, the problem is, working on something. It could be that some of you may have ties to a Virgo person, because we have a couple of cards here that ties to Virgo. But you may be working on paying some bills. That could be a problem area. So many responsibilities and obligations that are keeping you from having fun. You may be, trying to climb up the ladder of success. Perhaps you're looking at your money together. Money may be an issue. It has an impact on your relationship somehow. You may be going over your bills, how you can improve something. Maybe one of you has a special talent and you're trying to grow that. So you're looking at your personal situation or your relationship as a whole and trying to hone in on the details. And that may be important, paying more attention to the details, those little things that matter and make a relationship, how you look, how much effort you're putting in, the subtle gestures that are romantic. That can be very important. Perhaps that's neglected. In other instances, you may be in a rut in your relationship. You may find that you've settled into a routine that feels comfortable, but it's grown rather stale. You're doing the same things over and over and over. We have breakfast at 9, dinner at 6, we go to bed at 8, we never go anywhere. So maybe you're in a rut and maybe you need to mix things up. Or maybe you need the comfort of a routine. This is a card that says, get organized, plan so that you can become more efficient at something. So for some of you, maybe one of you makes money by writing or through some kind of expression. There is the Devil card, though. So there's some kind of restriction, delay, challenge, obstacle. You may be yielding to some kind of temptation based on some nostalgic memories. An old lover appearing, looking again outside of the relationship for the potential of something. Maybe somebody's having a work affair. Maybe this is a relationship that doesn't offer any substance. It's just a fun ride. But this is a period where you may be facing some kind of temptation. There could be some kind of deception within your relationship. Somebody is acting in their shadow self. There could be something hidden. Maybe somebody's doing some stalking, or somebody's very negative. And it may tie to bills, responsibilities, obligations. It could also be fear and pessimism that plays out as some nitpicking criticism where either of you are constantly looking for the failure. You're recording all of the wrongs. You have this tally of, yes, but back in, 2005, you did A, B, and C, or you said you were going to do this and you didn't do that. So it can be this tit for tat kind of behavior going on, a very competitive edge between you and your partner. There could be fear of change, some stagnancy, some resistance. Now, the Devil card says, again, it's time for you to act on your instincts. Your intuition is driving you to survive. Maybe you've got an opportunity in front of you, or you've got a challenge. Either way, something has kicked in, and your will to make something happen is very strong right now. And the problem is, it's so strong that you may be tempted to go on a destructive path. You may decide that, well, I need to get here, so by any means necessary, if I have to bend the rules or change my ethics or go off of my principles, I'm going to do that, because after all, I got to get here. So for some of you, you may be yielding to some kind of temptation. It may be sexual, some kind of obsession, an addiction, a compulsion. And maybe, for some of you, maybe you're just a workaholic. The money is about everything. You are obsessively working to move up that ladder, to pay your bills, to grow your money. And that's all that matters. For others of you, maybe there's this fear, and your fear drives you to constantly criticize and judge your partner. Again, there's some kind of shadow. Somebody may be stalking, trying to pry into affairs. There's some score keeping. And maybe it's about, well, I paid for this and you should have done that, or I paid this for you and now it's your turn to do this. So there's some kind of problem area where it centers around the future, money, perhaps traveling, finances. Something is off, and you and your partner are in competitive mode. Now, what's influencing this is some trust issues about what's fair. Maybe this is about settling some old debts. Maybe this is a legal issue, or being fair with responsibilities, whether that's parenting, taking care of the home, paying bills. So you're making a very important decision right now. For some of you, again, maybe you're in the legal system somehow. For others of you, this is about righting the scales where you feel there's been an injustice, and you're weighing your options. Perhaps you're having to make a choice between two people, two opportunities. Again, there's something where you're trying to manifest, and you're looking at what's safe versus the risk factor, what's comfortable versus what really gets me going. And it may tie to your children, somebody from childhood. It could be issues, maybe somebody's being childish. And there are some trust issues. Maybe this is a decision about where someone is vulnerable, where they're at risk, and whether they feel protected, loved, and nurtured. So you have some important decisions. If you're involved in a legal situation, then maybe this has to do with child support, or how your children are going to feel about the decisions that you're making. But there's some definite trust issues happening between you and your partner, feeling protected, where you're vulnerable. And you're going to need to deal with some new situations, take those in stride. try not to let it upset the entire apple cart, knowing that there are some changes to be dealt with, whether there's some kind of loss, delay, extra responsibility, or challenge. You're going to have to try to restore the balance. You're going to have to try to come up with a better solution, whether that's your routine or some aspect of your life. You're having to look at where you've taken on too much or where you simply haven't been doing enough. You may be dealing with people who have the authority to make decisions over some aspect of your life. And for some of you, this may be, settling the score somehow. You have to make a decision. Maybe this is about making an apology of some sort. If you are judging your partner, you may be expecting an apology, or you may be picking out what they've done wrong, or they may be making a judgment about you. Now, your advice card is, I get prickly when my insecurities are triggered. So again, there's some nitpicking, some shocking statements. People are looking at one another to determine whether they're walking their talk. And you have to recognize what is really the other person and where maybe there's just some things you haven't really dealt with, where maybe you're not being logical or rational, and you need to be more objective. You need to detach and get some good answers, some wise counsel to come up with a solution. Now, the outcome is the Nine of Cups and the Three of Cups. So again, issues surrounding abundance, sharing, prosperity, shared wealth, sharing how you feel, and could again be issues of third parties, somebody interfering, where you're getting your satisfaction, whether somebody's closing off emotionally, whether somebody is actually a player, an opportunist. So for some of you, this is about getting your wish. But at what cost? At what price? This is about clearly knowing what you want and going after it. This is a good time, whatever it is. You want a new partner, you want a better job, you want this, that, or the other. Great. You're likely to get it, and you're not going to meet with very much resistance. It may be handed to you right off the bat. That's why it's important to know exactly what you want, because you're likely to get it. And again, something you wished for may not be all that it's cracked up to be. Everything that glitters is not necessarily gold. So something could appear much better than it is once you have it. Now, you have ample opportunity to share your feelings, to express. You may be involved in some kind of social functions where there's drinking, there's eating. Maybe this is a date that you're going to have at a bar, a coffee shop, a restaurant. Whatever it is, you get to share your feelings, and you're going to be getting a lot of information. You're going to be taking in some things. Some of it could be gossip, and it's important for you to stand back and observe whether this is really true. Because whatever information comes across your path, whatever somebody's telling you, there's definitely an agenda behind it. It doesn't have to be a bad one, but it does serve a purpose. So you're going to have to sift through what you're being told by your partner, what you're hearing on the street, what the word is, to determine whether that's in fact the truth, because some of it is overblown. It's an embellishment. It's a bending of the truth. And in some cases, maybe it's just a flat out lie. So a lot of information is going to come across your path right now. But you are going to get a breakthrough, some psychological or emotional insight with regard to something where there's been a complication. And the complication might be run the gamut between health issues, extramarital affairs, a work affair, could be your partner's children, your ex, all kind of situations that could interrupt the flow, the normal flow of your relationship. There's going to be some kind of breakthrough with regard to that. Now, you have 4 major cards. That's quite a bit of major cards in a reading, which means that this period is going to be especially significant for you emotionally or spiritually. And so there are lessons for you, and fortunately the universe provides keys for those challenges. So with the Tower card, you're meant to reorganize some aspect of your life that's not working. It's time to rebuild. You're going to have to let go of things that maybe you thought served you, but you had a faulty judgment. You were building a foundation you were building a structure on a foundation that wasn't solid. So it's time to make some changes without hesitation. Don't delay. Don't procrastinate. With the Wheel card, things can change at any moment. Have confidence about where you're headed, but you need to be careful. The Wheel says don't be reckless. Take a risk, take a gamble, but let it be calculated. And the Hermit card says you need to use your logic. Perhaps you don't know everything that you think you do. You need to get some wise counsel or trust your intuition, and you can only do that if you stand back from a situation and don't allow your emotion to overtake you. And the Devil card says whatever you're involved in, there needs to be integrity. You need to behave in a decent manner and not fall prey to your temptation, because you are vulnerable and you need to recognize that. Now, you're weighing your options about something. There's some opportunity, perhaps again, 2 partners, maybe you don't have enough money, 2 opportunities. You're trying to juggle something. And, it may not be possible to be a jack of all trades. You may end up a master of none. So this is skillfully manipulating what you can and cannot do. You're looking to find answers that suit you, but also suit your partner. You want to do what's best for you, which may mean if finances are an issue, you may have to rebudget, restructure, look for other solutions, a second job, cut back on something. Look at your obligations, whether you're doing too much professionally and not giving enough attention to your relationship, or vice versa. And again, you're looking at this sharing of information and sifting through it. So there's some opportunity where you get to socialize, to express yourself. And it centers around benefits that come through other people. Perhaps creating some beneficial changes with regard to your obligations or some kind of restriction or bad habit that you have. And whatever you're dealing with is cyclic. You've been here before, and it's time to look at this again and give it some more thought. Something about your issue, though, is important as far as timing. And remember, you don't hesitate. You got to get on board. Although the problem is you're meeting with a challenge, an obstacle, a delay of some sort. So attention to detail is important. You're looking at the details with this 8 of Pentacles, and that's important, but not getting lost in the details. So timing is critical for you. And whatever it is, something about the past has an influence on the present. But the issue is there's a lack of motivation. There's not enough fire or desire to move something forward. This is going to be a month of emotional developments where you're looking at choices, your attachment to things, whether you want to support or you're getting the support you need. And if not, where you could actually become, an opponent to your partner or vice versa. And it all comes down to your thinking, your mindset, your moods, how you're taking in what's going on. And it may tie to your fertility or, whether that's having a child or actually producing something with tangible results, may tie to your creativity. And again, opening up your perspective, changing the way you look at life. You're likely to get whatever you want. This says so with this wish card. But you need to know that it is what you want. What you want may come in a different package, a different manner, or a different time frame than you expected. This is about broadening your horizons, but first, you're going to have to tie up some loose ends. All right, Cancer, I hope you enjoyed this reading. Don't forget to subscribe, and more importantly, don't forget to hit that notify bell. And let's make some positive change in your relationship. Let's create a love revolution.